tree. We went to the trouble of actually finding that. We are taking our wood-based puns to an even greater level. And here he is, Damian Woody. Who have you soured on this week?
Oh, Greeny, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous about this whole thing, but I gotta talk about my former team, the New England Patriots. Look here, Greeny, the first 3 weeks of the season, I'm like, Bill is cooking up his magic again, okay? He goes out there, he has a team ready to go out and beat the Dolphins. They lose on the last play of the game up in Seattle against the Seahawks, and Cam Newton is looking like vintage Cam Newton. Then the following week, they beat the Las Vegas Raiders. But Greeny, the last 3 weeks, Greeny, this Patriots team, oh my God, and Lewis, you can speak on this. This has been un-Patriot-like. You're talking about a team in the New England Patriots that have scored more than 12 points in 3 consecutive losses. Greeny, do you know in 20 years with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, they had never had anything like that in back-to-back week, let alone 3 consecutive weeks. Greeny, did you know this? Did you know this? The Patriots are 31st in explosive plays, only ahead of our New York Jets. Think how disgusting that is to be associated, to be near how bad the New York Jets are as far as offense is concerned. And Greeny, they only have 3 touchdowns as far as all of their starting quarterbacks concerned. What we are seeing in New England is just pure disgusting. I am so upset that I even have to talk about the Patriots this morning in this fashion because I never thought I would be doing that. You know how much I revere Bill Belichick. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest. But right now, Greeny, the Patriots flat out stink. Okay? They flat out stink. I hate that I'm doing this, but Lord have mercy, just watching the Patriots make me want to gag on offense. Woo!
D. Wood has soured on his former team, the Patriots. All right, I think I want to ask the question to you this way. First of all, no one loves the wood-based puns more than Dominique Foxworth, so I just enjoy watching your face as that happens. But, Lewis, I want to come to you because you, too, have that relationship with Bill. You played for Bill Belichick as well back when he was the coach of Cleveland. Is it time to give up on this team? And you watch them play, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of hope. If they lose to Buffalo, they're, for all intents and purposes, 3.5 games out of the division. Is this just going to be a season in which the Patriots aren't relevant for the entire second half of the year?
Well, first, I think you have to allow the Patriots to get back on the practice field and work through some of these issues because giving up in Bill Belichick, they are oil and water. You can't do that. This guy has been around for too long, has too much in his mental Rolodex, has too much experience to draw off of to say, well, it's just one of those seasons where you're just going to have to look forward to 2021. They need to get back on the practice field. Bill's going to get together with his coaches, and he is going to grind through this and get players to start doing some of the things at game speed that he sees them doing on the practice field, and he won't rest until that is the case. I don't think it's any secret that they know that there's work to be done on this football team in the offseason. No doubt about that. Because there's certain things, I don't care how much practice you do, that you can't create. You can't create speed and playmakers down the field simply because you're running more plays at practice. You can't do that kind of thing. But as far as the execution is concerned and the mental errors are concerned, I promise you, there's some people in Foxborough right now who are catching it, if you know what I mean. And I just don't want to say what they're catching, but they're catching it from Bill Belichick, and it's not pretty. Promise you that.
I hear it. I love the reaction of D. Wood. He's so entertained by you that he's practically not even in the shot anymore, and that's a lot of man to be out of the shot. D. Wood, what? Why are we laughing?
Because, man, the restraint in Lewis right now, not wanting to go in on the Patriots. Hey, Lewis, I feel you, brother. I know, man. It took a lot of me to restrain too, but. Man, it's ugly out there, Lewis. It's ugly out there.
Yeah,
I will say this:
they have their issues. They got some work to do. There's no doubt about that. But Damian, I mean, as we both know, it's Bill. He'll do something. He's not going to sit by and let this continue. He
you'll
just
see what
won't.
happens.
You know that.
They've got the big game with Buffalo tomorrow. With Sunday. We'll make the picks here tomorrow. Meanwhile, Dominique, we called you out a little earlier with Hembo. Here comes trivia. Which player has caught the second most touchdown passes from Tom Brady? We acknowledge the quarterback. And then, showdown, Steelers, Ravens, highest combined win percentage in the series history between these two teams. Here's Big Ben on this big rivalry.
It's a physical one. It can be nasty at times, but I've always felt as many times as my nose has been broke, we've had injuries. It's been a close game. It's always been football in its truest form in the sense that it's never dirty. It's never been nasty. It's just been hard-nosed football. And so this is one you always want your bye week to be after.
It's interesting that he puts it that way because their bye week was shifted. The Ravens have a bye leading into this game. The Steelers were supposed to, but that got moved around because of the coronavirus changes. And look who's here. The squad is ready to go. Dominique is here. Damian Woody. Adam Schefter is up early this morning, and we will get Louis Riddick in just a minute. But Dominique, let's start with that. The fact that the Ravens have a bye and the Steelers don't. Is that a bigger advantage for Baltimore in your view, physically or in terms of preparation?
Yeah, I think getting that rest is certainly nice and it makes you feel good and you're a little bit healthier going into the game. But I think it's more important for preparation-wise. I rewatched that game last night and I saw so many coaching changes on both offense and defense on both sides throughout the course of the game. It was one of the more cerebral games that I've watched from last season. So I think the Ravens having the opportunity to put a little bit more effort into their preparation, I think is more a benefit to the Ravens for their preparation than it is for them physically how they feel going on the field.
Yeah, the Steelers, the last unbeaten team in the NFL. The Ravens sort of flying under the radar since they got handled by Kansas City, but this would certainly put them right back in everybody's conversation. D. Wood, as you look ahead to this one, what's a matchup you're looking for?
Greeny, I know you and Shefty and Neek want to talk about the skill people, but this is about the big boys, the big dogs in the trenches. Every time you talk about the Pittsburgh, the Steelers, Ravens rivalry, it always comes down to the pass rushes and the offensive line. And when you talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, everything starts with T.J. Watt, Bud Dupree. Can the Baltimore Ravens keep this guy off of Lamar Jackson? Because they're going to have their hand full with this dynamic duo coming off the edge for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, Shefty, it's an interesting note because one would think with the history of this rivalry and all the times they've gone back and forth, you sent me a very interesting note about this game that I think a lot of people may not realize.
It's amazing. We are in Lamar Jackson's third NFL season, and this will be the first time that he's ever started a game where Ben Roethlisberger has been the starting quarterback for the other team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so it'll be the first time that Ben and Lamar square up. It has not happened before in this rivalry, which is hard to imagine. It just has not worked out to where they've both been on the field at the same time. Ben's been hurt. Lamar hasn't been in the lineup. It just hasn't worked. But this will be the first time that the Ravens quarterback for the next decade plus and the Steelers quarterback for the last decade plus will meet in a game. They square off and start against each other for the first time, Greeny.
Yeah, it does. It feels a little bit like the past of the division meeting the future of the division, and we'll find out who the present of the division is on Sunday. And Dominique, I know you have some tape that you put together for us looking ahead to this game.
Yeah, I think the Steelers did a great job against Lamar Jackson as Ravens last year. They wanted to blitz early to stop the run and play zone and take away the middle of the field against Pats. Here it is, that inside dive-in blitz. They have someone to be accountable for the running back, someone accountable for the quarterback. They did that all game on early downs, and it shut it down. And as far as the passing attack, they didn't blitz as much as they tried to take over the middle of the field because that's where Lamar likes to do his work. So there, you see all these numbers around one tight end in the middle field that caused an interception. They did it so often that eventually Lamar and the Ravens adjusted and started to attack the outside of the field, which we all know is not where Lamar is most comfortable. So they took away that middle, they forced the outside pass, and another turnover there by the Steelers. If they're able to stop the run by blitzing on early downs and take away the middle of the field with zone coverage on second and third downs, I think that the Steelers have a good chance to do what Damian said and let those big boys up front get after Lamar Jackson and really slow this Ravens attack.
And on the flip side, we've spent a lot of this season, Damian Woody, talking about how the Ravens offense just hasn't looked like that record-setting group of a year ago. What do you need to see from Lamar Jackson if he's going to beat the unbeaten Steelers on Sunday?
Well, listen, I think, Dominique kind of alluded to it. He so much of the Ravens passing game is in between the numbers with the tight ends, but I need to see some explosive plays down the field.